let you take it from here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our weekly general meeting for Southern Oregon Family Farms, an owner-operator, Sungrown OLCC producer cooperative. Our main goal is to create efficiencies amongst our network so we can reduce our costs and develop a model that competes with corporate cannabis. Together as a group, we can maximize on our skill sets that each farm has individually and leverage it amongst the group. We have upwards of 10, 12 members now. And I'd like to start by introducing a couple of our members or letting them introduce themselves. Let's start with Kristine and her partner Devin, and hear from Southern Oregon Moonshine and Circle D.
Hi, I'm Kristine Miller with Southern Oregon Moonshine, and this is Devin, Circle D Farms. We both grow on the same property, Devin's property out in Cave Junction. We're sun-grown full season tier 2. We have a lot of sustainable and organic growing practices, but we are not 100% organic. We have a lot of our own genetics and
Kristine, your reception is not coming through. Yeah.
well, maybe next time.
Okay.
So let's hear from, next in line would be Scott. You have a chance to talk to us a little bit about BZS resources. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, is my phone working all right?
Seems like it's working great.
It was messing up on Tuesday's meeting, so I just left. But anyhow, I'm Scott, owner of BZS Resources down here at the mouth of the Applegate and the Rogue, kind of catty corner across the pond from Aaron. Yeah, freezing my butt off, standing outside. Good to see everybody.
Thank you, Scott. Well, who's next? Let's hear from Green Bandit.
Hello, this is Sarah and Brian from Green Bandit. We are the co-owners. And did you want to do the 30-second intro?
We're a sun-grown farm like the rest of the crew, and we focus on regenerative practices and organic practices. Been doing that since 2017 when we got started, and going good. Glad to see other people promoting sun-grown with us.
Well, thank you so much. Let's hear from Patrick of Roganja.
Hey guys, Patrick at Roganja, tier 2, sun-grown. I was just reflecting on one of the things that makes our farm real fast, and it puts me back to the summer after my fourth grade year, and that my brother and I, my co-owner brother and I, were out shooting BB guns, and my dad came running up saying, "Go hide in the hills." That day, my dad got arrested for growing marijuana, and that makes what we do, and that's it. Thank you.
Cool story.
Oh
yeah. My name's Aaron. We run a farm, but has 2 different brands. Black Bottle Cannabis Company, that's myself. Then my business partner is a doctor. His is called MD Remedies. We plant in native soil. We try to be as organic as possible. We fluctuate a little bit from year to year based upon our budgetary constraints. We use a non-oil-based spray regimen, so it's all biological sprays for bugs. And we have a couple strains that we have in house, and we don't have our own breeding program, though I got a lot of strains from Circle D and Moonshine this year, which I really impressed with those strains. Super excited to see about what we can put together next year, because I guess they're pheno hunting a whole bunch more stuff. So just growing stuff that grows well. I see somebody else in the group is named Alan. Alan, let's hear from you and get a little intro.
Hello, my name's Alan, and I at Nightwood Farms. We're located in Bandit on the coast. We are a tier 2 mixed, sun grown. We have a greenhouse. We use that in the wintertime, mainly for plant propagation and keeping our moss. And we focus on, basically the same thing everybody else does, regenerative agriculture. We're almost fully organic. And yeah, that's pretty much our story.
And what was your name and the name of your farm again, please?
It's Alan Clark. My
Alan
farm is, name of our company is Nightwood Horticulture.
Nightwood. Cool. Well, thank you so much for the participation, Alan. Justin, let's hear a little bit from you from Calyx.
Sure. I wanted to mention that Alan has submitted his application for farm membership.
Great.
Yeah, nice. Justin Botillier, CEO of Calyx CPAs in Medford, Oregon. The farms, several of them in attendance here, kind of helped me get my start in the cannabis industry, and around 2016, and I've not looked back since. It's a difficult industry to work with, and it's very tumultuous and very unpredictable, but that has only made my firm better at servicing this industry and servicing small businesses in general, because it's set the bar so high in terms of complexity and compliance requirements, etc. So taxes are a business's biggest expense typically. So I would not neglect that part of your business. It's something you got to take into consideration.
Cool. Thank you, Justin. Well, let's hear from Jeremy Husaker of Agri Collective.
Jeremy Husaker with Agricola Collective. We're trying to partner with the smaller producing farms and spread their flower all over the state and help with delivery, logistics, sales, and marketing, building those brands. A lot of people will wholesale their flower, but we're trying to build brands. So thanks for having me.
Jeremy, how do you spell your business name?
Agricola Collective.
Agricola Collective.
Yes.
Okay, so Agricola Collective. Okay.
Yeah.
So your email is just Agri Collective, correct?
It's Agricola, Jeremy at agricolacollective.com.
Oh, okay. Great.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. You're doing a great work.
So Aaron, I
like the view behind you. It looks like you're on vacay.
So unlike Aaron, I have not updated. I mean, I do not have anything on the agenda as a priority. We have what we have had kind of carried over in terms of like some of the initiatives that we've had as a cooperative. And this time, we've heard from Alan and we've heard from Jeremy, we've heard from a lot of people over the weeks, but we haven't really got to just kind of go over, the co-ops initiatives. Again, I was thinking maybe what we could do for this recording and the people who are in attendance that haven't maybe been to our board meetings and whatnot is kind of first talk about like some of the things that we've done in terms of what the board work we've done in regard to board work, and then maybe even talk about like some of the committees and whatnot that we are wanting to put together. And then that way, if somebody's watching this video afterwards, they might be interested in being on a committee once those committees are established. What do you think about that?
Sounds fine.
We have for those of you who don't know, we do board meetings every week on Tuesday at 5 o'clock For the most part, almost all farm members are in attendance at those meetings, whether or not they've been voted on the board or not. But once approved, you're welcome to join those board meetings. So Alan, once we, for you in particular, now that you've submitted your application, the next steps will be doing a board interview. So we'll probably make a special time for you to meet with the board so that we could ask you just some qualifying questions and those kinds of things. We will review your application, which it's a fairly simple application. Obviously, it's not anything complex. And so, and then we will determine whether or not you fit the criteria, which it sounds like you do. And then after the interview, we'll do kind of like an executive session, and we'll vote on your membership. So it may take a couple weeks, so just be patient with us. We're still just we're just getting organized still. You know, we don't really even have our board positions hammered out, except for last Tuesday we were able to determine what we wanted in terms of what our board looks like and the board positions that we are going to have. Other things that we have come to a conclusion on are the what are the criteria for farm ownership, and the number of farms are we going to allow or that we would allow at this point into the co-op as a farm owner. And so just for your information, I thought I would just go over those. I am going to include it in the recap that I do every week in terms of just kind of talking about some of the progress we've made, but for this meeting, I'll go ahead and do that. And one of the things that we decided to do earlier, oh, Aaron, you got your hand up, go for it.
Yeah, thanks. I was just going to do a little recap before we jump into some of the new initiatives we had.
Yeah.
So we created our board as a structure that had president, Kristine, a Southern Oregon Moonshine, as our president. We have financial chair, which is Justin here at Calyx. We have secretary, which I've been in the position as secretary. And then the other existing farm members were on the board as board advisors. We've wanted to expand our roles amongst the organization to create more subcommittees. And at the same time, we also got a great letter write up from Greenlight Law Group that helped to establish some of the legal viewpoints of and advice kind of moving forward for cannabis cooperatives. And that kind of had us take a step back and realizing that maybe we should look at some of our internal structures some more. And so we had looked, so some of our internal structures, we started looking at the way that our cooperative is formed and how we're engaging with our community, both other potential farm members, industry participants, and also different action groups around the United States, looking at the legal causes about federal legalization and cooperation amongst regions, and also looking at what some of the criteria we would need to instill confidence among our existing members to make sure we represent small family farms, family-owned small operations moving forward, but at the same time being inclusive, allowing other members that have achieved greater scalability that still meet the Oregon-owned criteria that was important for SOFF and our kind of mission moving forward. So we put some votes out as far as we started doing some different surveys online, trying to help with the efficiency of group meetings. And that's been pretty fruitful in the way that there's a little bit less discussion and more as far as like ideas. And now we get responses and statistics as far as the group's opinions, and then we can discuss those opinions. And through those surveys, we found that our original idea of having 10 farm members for Southern Oregon Family Farms is small in scope. So we've raised that threshold to now 30 farms. So Southern Oregon Family Farms has a cap at this current time of 30 farm members that fit the criteria, both being family farm, owner operator, Oregon owned, sun grown, with limited light assisted flower. As long as your main profit center is not light assisted flower production. We also increased the criteria to allow light depth. So this is a little bit different than the Oregon definition is that there is no light assisted to flower production. So if you're pulling lights or depths, curtains to put into flower, then that still qualifies. So our dilemma was if we're interested in having light deprived flower on our menu, there was some conflicts associated to the ideas of maybe that product fetching a higher price, so it may push some of our own sales. So we were able to discuss what that looks like, and the main criteria that we've agreed upon is that all flower brought to market through Southern Oregon Family Farms needs to be graded by a third party. And that third party rating is what determines price. If light depth has a lower, it's assumed that light depth will have a higher price point, but that price point is really associated to the grade. So if a farm, basically the requirements are the farm prices their product on our collective menu according to the grade they achieve per strain, per batch, which batches are not 50 pounds. So that makes it a little bit easier. We've also looked at the size of grows. Initially, we had a size limit of 2 tier 2s per garden. With the inclusive idea, allowing more farms to be a part of our organization, we've considered farms that are more established and have achieved a larger brand and scalability, and the opportunity to work together to help each other be a success is what's really important moving forward. So we've raised that threshold to now being 5 tier 2s for any one membership. Mainly, no, I heard you, Alan. It's a wow. And it is a bit daunting. We all felt that originally. But the idea is that these gardens with 5 tier 2s have achieved a level of success, both in their operations and brand, that they don't look to our organization to distribute their product. So with that in mind, the goal of ours is to really still help each farm move a certain amount of graded material that fits a certain score. So even though I have 2 tier 2s and I don't produce at full capacity this year, but let's say I did produce twice as much as another farm member, we're still going to be emphasizing that we move an equal amount of product that's at a certain grade. Now, if I bring, 2 tier 2s worth of product with double what another farm member is, and they all grade 99, and every other farm is like less, well, we're in a conundrum there. And we need to talk about how our operations are equitable amongst members, at the same time still bringing high quality products to market, because Southern Oregon Family Farms really is focusing on high quality cannabis, because if we can help to distribute high quality cannabis amongst the state, then that will help build Southern Oregon Family Farms brand and the consumer confidence in the products that Southern Oregon Family Farms brings. So I would foresee myself being on the opposite side of that example, where maybe not all of my products meet a high enough grade. So I'm not necessarily a threat in that way. But the new member we brought on, Benson, is a well-established farm with good products that we estimate will be hitting good scores. So he would be a good example of somebody that has more product than more high grade product than somebody with just 1 tier 2. So how do we emphasize an equitable distribution amongst farm members? That's a priority. So the goal in raising the tier threshold limit is not to push out any one producer. And so that's kind of why we went back to the drawing board with some of these legal paper from Greenlight Law, is really to help assess that we're creating the correct foundation that helps to achieve the long-term goals that this organization originally set forth, which is to help the Southern Oregon small family farm. So we have 30 tier twos as our new farm cap membership with a threshold of 5 tier twos amongst the group. Justin, you have a question?
Well, I wanted to reiterate what you're saying too, like a couple of things before we get too far out. Greenlight Law Group was a very interesting, that paper that they wrote, and then listening to them over the last several weeks was very interesting and eye-opening to the potential of the cooperative. You know, they really showed us like post interstate commerce, because right now we're trying to survive, like I get it, but post interstate commerce, that's going to allow us, if positioned correctly, the co-op to go to a whole new level. And that level may allow for the various farm owners of the Southern Oregon Family Farms Cooperative now scale up. And we do want to have relationships with people who've already been successful in such a tight market, to learn from them so that we could scale up with them. Yeah, so so it's not just about short-term, the co-op is not just about short-term survival, even though we are working towards that. We're also positioning ourselves to take advantage of interstate commerce when that happens. And if you listen to Greenlight Law Group, Andrew DeWeese specifically, and you know, and some of the things going on there, it feels like it's on the horizon. It's not maybe like as close as we would like it, but it's on the horizon.
Hey, Alan, if you would put your phone on mute, that will help. Thank you.
Go for it, Aaron.
All right. Well, to touch back on where we are with the board of directors, the board voted in a couple new measures. One of the measures to protect the farm members is that the farm or the board of directors is there to implement procedures set forth and voted on by members. So all new policy that is brought forth by the board must be voted on by all farm members. And we still do need to work out the threshold needed for farm members to accept a given policy put forth by the board. I feel that 51% is maybe not enough, because politics can really take play when you just need 51%. Something closer to like 60%, where 2/3 of farm members need to approve a given policy by board, I think is a little bit more appropriate. And so currently we voted in new board membership roles. The first being president, the second vice president. The president and vice president is a relationship where they really work together in communicating, because the president is there as a voice and figurehead for the group. The president is very leadership role based. It has a lot of different constituents that they keep in mind. So it's a position that is well accommodated with Kristine, because Kristine's a level-headed person. Female, I think, also helps the leadership role as far as understanding a longer term cost or agenda at play. So thank you, Kristine. You're awesome.
Hey, Aaron, do you want me to share the agenda so we could look at the actual board positions in writing, or do you want to just share them verbally?
I'm just reading from it. So
yeah,
if you want to, you can. It changes up the screen for me, but it's all good. The vice president role is really there to communicate with all subcommittees. Though we do not have subcommittees established yet, I think the vice president may be a role where they're communicating with other board of directors until we have an active and robust subcommittee act, and not just subcommittee, but like an action items where that information and communication then can be relayed to the president. Treasurer is a pretty solid position for Justin here at Calyx CPA as the finance head he is. Secretary is the role that I've been in for a minute, but it's not my skill set. So I've actually put that position up for vote, or anybody else that wants to step into that role. Secretary is somebody very important as far as getting out information, taking minutes, and a lot of due diligence associated to communication, and getting forms out. It's something that doesn't really cater to my skill sets. Sergeant of Arms is somebody that's associated to dues requirements and holding people within the group accountable. Although we do not have too many requirements, when we do have annual dues and or action items in place, the Sergeant of Arms is somebody that helps to oversee the compliance.
Attendance probably too.
Yeah, I mean, attendance is a pretty surface level one. I think getting more involved with the organization as far as making sure that people are upholding the quality standards, and or if we do any type of craft certifications from year to year. Because as we build Southern Oregon Family Farms, one of our initiatives is how do we brand the participants, and there's a variety of options we have. We could get into that a little bit later. So we have director of sales, we have directors of marketing, we have the board and policy development chair. Would anyone like to step in to maybe explain a little bit as far as board and policy development chair? Because that's one that I'm not as clear as far as what that role would do.
Yeah, I think I helped write some of these, and it's really just a suggestion, but board and, we talked about code of ethics a lot. That, I mean, I feel like that would be something that would be included on the policy, like the branding or the marketing, our mission, values, those kinds of things, bringing those to the forefront of and bringing that to the membership as far as like what we have many different kinds of initiatives that we've proposed, and we've done a little bit of work on them, but we haven't followed through with them, and they absolutely need to be followed through. And also there is essentially a cooperative advisory group based out of Portland that advises co-ops. And I've reached out to the general manager of another cooperative that I know here locally, and she's going to put us in touch with somebody from there to actually get things like board training and whatnot, which would be pretty cool. I don't know what the cost is going to be at this point, but at least we could start that conversation.
Sounds good. So there's the packaging and product placement chair, which is an important role that will go back into the craft cannabis badge. It's important for our products to have a level of professionalism. Now, some farms may have their own product, packaging in order. And in the case that a farm doesn't want to switch to Southern Oregon Family Farms packaging, then they may be more inclined to having a Southern Oregon Family Farms badge included within their product. And the craft cannabis badge is something that we're looking at doing a yearly inspection associated to obtaining craft certification that builds year after year. Once you hit year 5, we figure that year 5 would be a good amount of years to obtain like that robust kind of stature. And the last one being third-party grading, making sure all our flower is being accurately graded, and logistics to help inspire that consumer confidence in our products. Lastly, being legal advisor, likely to be a position from Greenlight Law, either Perry or Andrew Deweese. So those numbers come to, what is it, 11? Think so. So that we have ability to not be gridlocked as far as equal numbers voting on each. And this was obviously the head of each chair. So there will still be a subcommittee with amongst each one of these board advisors. So anything else we'd like to talk about, Justin?
Well, I think that's really, I think that is really important, just getting this out to the general supporters of Southern Oregon Family Farms, to see if anybody would be interested in contributing. I don't see Jeremy on here anymore, but you know, Jeremy might want to be part of like the sales committee, even though he's a you know, he owns a wholesale company himself, and he does sales. I mean, we do have quite a mailing list now, and there's a lot of farm people, you know, farms who watch these videos and follow what we're up to, and they may not want to necessarily be as involved as being a chair of a committee, but they might want to be on the committee. And so what does that mean to them? And so the nice thing that I see in regard to these positions is the chairs specifically follow exactly what we've been talking about for months about wanting to do. Specifically the packaging, the third-party grading, and then of course we've got our you know, our marketing and sales initiatives that we've been talking about. And we've gone round and round about ideas for creating a YouTube channel, for creating videos and all that stuff. And so this is, once we nominate and elect people to be in these positions, we're kind of off to the races finally. So I'm glad that we got to talk about these, and I look forward to, I think the next step that was on what we were going to do after this is do some nominations. And Kristine was going to put out another follow-up survey for the farm membership to actually nominate or to volunteer for positions. So that's the next.
I have this survey made. I think I emailed it to you to check out, and I'll probably send that out today to everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. So that's all I had. If anybody wants to, you know, Brian, you guys had talked a lot about some of the things you had in mind for sales and sales initiatives and marketing and whatnot. I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about what they have in mind for the board or the membership to do or take action. Like what are some of the next steps?
Hey, Justin, sorry, Brian wasn't in the room when you mentioned that, but
okay, that's okay. I mean, we could always, it'll be a record timing, but if we run out of things to talk about, which is kind of amazing, we could always, here, let me end this, stop sharing too. Sorry about that. We could always end the meeting.
Does Kristine have something that she wants to
mention?
mention?
Kristine, go for it, Kristine.
I was just going to talk about the market currently and sales and like what people's plans are for trimming, or if anybody, I don't know if it's too doom and gloom or if people want to. I've actually seen a little bit of an uptake in sales from Portland Cannabis Market. They're usually like super low ballers, but I've been getting almost daily calls and they're buying at $350, which isn't like anything to like super celebrate, but this is last year's product. And has anybody heard where the current outdoor price is hitting? Is anybody have market material to market yet?
So Kristine, were you saying that we're still selling 2021 material and there was an uptake in 2021 material?
Yes, I'm seeing a slight uptake, like sale uptake in the 2021 material. I'm not going to bring anything 2022 material probably till January. I don't know if anybody's has any current like fresh material on their menu and what it's moving at.
Well, Kristine, we've tested 2022, one of our diesel strains. It hit the market Monday. I sold 6 pounds through my wholesaler in Portland, and it was 600 back to me.
That's great news. Oh my gracious.
So say that again, Scott. You sold 600 pounds at $600.
No, I tested 25 of one of my diesel strains about 2 weeks ago, and I sold 6 of it through one of my wholesalers in Portland at 600 a piece.
Okay, back to you. Back to you.
So that means they're hitting. I don't know exactly what they're hitting the market, but they hit the market at that at probably 758.
Yeah, netting about 600. So about.
That's promising. I think that's like really like.
That's very promising.
So I mean, it's the G13 diesel. It's a very, I don't know. Everybody says it's a rare strain. It's a old military strain. Plus we had a phenomenal test on that particular strain through Greenleaf. Pretty impressive. So it's feels good to see that out of the gate. My wholesaler up there thinks that things are gonna pick up, so that's promising. You know, I've got a lot of 21 product left that I'm not even gonna sell, or I'll figure something out with it, but I'm focusing on 22 now.
That's
That sounds-
awesome. I
Sounds
want
really
to be
good.
able. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that we're gonna have product on the market on December 1st is our goal. It won't be the complete menu, but that's when we're gonna get going and test prices for this year's product. But that sounded great, Scott. Like, nice move on your part, man. Get it going.
What was your?
Yeah, we were pretty fortunate. Or go ahead, sorry.
No, I just was asking what your potency test was.
24.7, which is, I mean, you know well enough that anytime you get above 20, you're doing pretty good. And, you know, for what we do for feeding and obviously an early harvest this year. We finally finished harvesting everything yesterday. So, luckily we had some stuff finished early and it was good.
Sweet.
Yeah, I've from my side of things, good and bad. Bad for some people and good for others. I've had a lot of people just tell me they've wrapped up, you know, and they're selling they're either parking their licenses. Got it. Parking their licenses, or they're putting it for sale. And these are a lot of like small growers without any kind of brand recognition. I'm talking a lot of people, like maybe probably like 30-40%. So that's good news for you guys. The survivors.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, am I muted?
Nope, you're up.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, as far as Roganja is concerned, we are just focusing on our package materials, I guess, until I don't see us trimming flower until the price is at least 600. Like, and what Scott said, that's sweet, you know, because that gives hope. But it doesn't really pencil for us to sell it below that price. So that's killer. But as far as like, we're probably not going to bring anything to market until probably January 1st. And it's just going to be pre-rolls and extracts and stuff like that.
I don't want to move the conversation away from this, but one of the things that I was thinking about is, do you guys have any, do you see there any benefit for co-oping like a real high quality trim machine or something like that?
I see the benefit of co-oping really high quality trimmers.
Yep,
that are
that's what I
hand
was gonna
trimming.
say.
We agree.
Yep.
Not for a machine, but trimmers. Yeah.
I have an amazing crew and I can't keep them busy right now. They're licensed and like respectful, and they've been with me for like 6 years. And I've been loaning them out to other farms for harvest and trimming and whatever. And so if we could co-op trimmers that are like, because when it takes like a little bit, every time you switch a strain or switch a farm, it takes like a day or two to get used to it. But if they trim for months straight, they get better and you get more efficient. And same thing if we do decide to do like a pre-roll line or even packaging, it would be amazing to do it like in one spot or use the same team, so we don't have to train people over and over and over again, and like getting the SOPs going and standardizing organization. That's going to make us more attractive to dispensaries too, is having like some like consistency.
Yeah, that's
Is
awesome.
there-
I think that's so cool. Like if we had like, I brought it up a couple times, but you know, a wholesale spot where that crew or someone's crew could just be there and we could co-op that expense, that part would be so awesome, I think.
I think Jackson would probably let us use his facility in Medford for like a really small fee. And maybe we wouldn't necessarily have like, we could even have our crew kind of, I don't know if people have the space. Sorry, Devin's on the phone.
What about RIA for I kind of feel like if we can keep it into the farm membership, that might not be a bad idea. Not to exclude Jackson, but you know.
Space that
Yeah,
Rita
the
has
crew
with
can
the
travel that way. We can use like the same, like I have a bazillion pair of scissors. We have like trays, like we can share resources, not only trimmers, but like the alcohol jars and the friggin' rags and like everything associated with the sifters, like with trimming. That would be, I already have almost all of that, lots and lots of it. So we could have a traveling crew that goes to each farm.
We also own a knock box if people are into pre-rolls also.
I have a question about the knockbox. Is that the Futurola?
Yeah, the Futurola does like 100 at a time.
Okay.
That's cool.
Also, does anyone have a sizable keefing machine?
I have a barrel for the triminator, and you put it, it's like a keef barrel. I don't know if you've seen that.
Is it the XL?
Yeah, it's not the huge one. It's like the bigger one, but not the biggest one.
Okay.
I mean, it works great for doing small amounts, I guess, or I mean, pretty good amounts, but
Yeah, I see a need for keef to be a product available because it helps to combine with older material. And then you could even add like distillate and make moon rocks as a viable option for old material as an avenue.
That reminds me, I saw an article about how infused pre-rolls are increasing in market share. What is an infused pre-roll exactly?
Infused with oil or concentrate of some kind. extract or concentrate being involved. I mean, it's basically just concentrating the flour beyond just pure flour. So you could be infused with keef. Though I don't think keef would satisfy, because infusing means that it's actually binding to the flour. So I think it'd be some sort of oil to be combining there.
And
if-
Left Hand Labs offered up their because you have to have a lab to be able to do infused joints. Or no, now we can get it back, but they have like a commissary kitchen that they offered up, like we could use rent for a pretty reasonable price to make infused joints or extracts like that.
And that would be important when utilizing oil from different farms or different batches when doing any type of combining. Then we would need a third party, a processor license.
I've got to get going because I have a client at 11, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording for now. Do we hang on.